Hello children, let's begin our maths class. Today we are going to continue with a new exercise which is based on exponents and radicals. So we are going to see a new topic, children. In the previous class we have seen the graph, yes? So I hope you would be clear with the graph. So you know how to shade the particular region. Okay children, now today we are going to see the topic exponents and radicals. Before we go to exercise 2.11, you have some points to be taken out. So take down your classwork, write down today's date, give the heading, points to remember. I hope you are ready with your classwork. So take down your classwork, write down today's date, give the heading, points to remember. And you have to follow some of the instructions, children. Always, that is whenever you start a new page, okay, you have to draw a margin and a rough column. I hope you are following these rules. And also, you should have a habit of drawing the lines after you complete particular sum. That's what you use for your exam. So children, you have a habit of drawing it. So just continue it. Just do not stop that habit. You have to draw a margin and a rough column in every page, and as soon as you finish one sum, you have to draw a line which indicates that you have completed a sum. Okay children? And similarly, when you submit your homework, that is when you send the homework to us, you have to draw a line that shows that you have completed one particular sum. Okay? So when you submit your homework, you have to write the question and the answer. Just follow this and you have to do it. Okay children? Okay, now we are going to start with points to remember. Now you are going to refer page 74. Take down page 74. In page 74, just see the last para, children. You have properties of exponential function. Give the heading, properties of exponential function. Okay, so we are going to write down what are the different properties of exponential function. Mostly this property is related to our indices, law of indices. We have studied laws of indices. Yes, so mostly this will be related to the law of indices. Okay children? So let's see what are the different properties of exponential function. So write down here, before we write the first point, you have to write down what are the members or what are the terms involved there. So for AB greater than 0, and A is not equal to and B is not equal to 1. So this is a condition. A is not equal to 1 and B is not equal to 1. So you can choose the value for A and B which is greater than 0. So you should have a positive value for A and a positive value for B. And one more thing, the value for A and the value for B should not be equal to 1. So this is a condition. So we can just apply the properties if A and B satisfies this condition. Okay, let's go with the first property. What is the first property? A raised to x plus y is equal to A raised to x into A raised to y. We would have written A raised to m plus n is equal to A raised to m into A raised to n. Here just in cases of m and n, we are replacing as x and y. That's all. For all xy belonging to R. For all xy belonging to R. Okay, so this is the first property. A raised to x plus y is equal to A raised to x into A raised to y for all x, y belonging to R. Next one, A raised to x upon A raised to y. What do you get here? This is in the form of division. Here we had a multiplication, eh, children? So A raised to x into A raised to y, this is A raised to x plus y. So now here this is in the form of division. So you get here A raised to x minus y. A raised to x minus y again for all xy belonging to R. What is the second property? A raised to x upon A raised to y is equal to A raised to x minus y for all xy belonging to R. The third one is, read on the third property, A raised to x the whole raised to y. This is equal to A raised to xy. Actually, this is the same, mostly this is the same as law of indices. There we have used A raised to mn, we have used in terms of m and n. Here just we are using in terms of x and y. So we call this as exponential function. So what is the third property? A raised to x the whole raised to y is equal to a raised to xy for all xy belonging to R. For all xy belonging to R. Okay children? Now let's go for the fourth one. AB the whole raised to x. What is that? AB the whole raised to x. What do you get here? The x, the AB the whole raised to x. That means the power x is common to A and it's also common to B. So you get here A raised to x, B raised to x for all x belonging to R. For all x belonging to R. And the last one, a raised to x is equal to 1. A raised to x is equal to 1 if and only if x is equal to 0. If and only if x is equal to 0. That means if you put here 0, what do you get? A raised to 0. And we have seen that anything raised to 0 gives you 1. You can write the short form, children. This is the short form for if and only if. If and only if can be written as IFF. If and only if. Okay. IFF. You may ask what is that IFF? IFF is the expansion or the expansion of this is if and only if. IFF. Okay. I hope you have taken all the 5 properties. Let us have a small recap of these 5 properties. We started from AB, that is we have to see the condition first of all. That is where you can apply the properties of exponential function. We can apply the properties of exponential function when that A and B, that is we are going to choose the value for A and B, that value should be greater than 0. Now greater than 0 means what? It is going to be lying on the, suppose this is a number line. Greater than 0 means the numbers will be lying on the right side. That means you are going to consider the positive number. You are going to take only the positive number. And also, the value for A should not be equal to 1 and the value for B should not be equal to 1. And other than that, you can take any value. Okay. What is the first property? A raised to x plus y is equal to A raised to x into A raised to y. This is for all xy belonging to R. It will be, that is, it will be a real number. A raised to x upon A raised to y is equal to A raised to x minus y for all xy belonging to R. A raised to x, the whole raised to y is equal to A raised to xy for all xy belonging to R. Okay, this is A raised to m, the whole raised to n, A raised to mn. AB, the whole raised to x is equal to A raised to x, B raised to x. That is, the x is common for A and B also. That is, the power goes for A as well as B. And the last one, A raised to x is equal to 1 if and only if x is equal to 0. If and only if x is equal to 0. That means, if you substitute the value for x as 0, you get here A raised to 0 which is equal to 1. That is, any number. It can be any number. If you write any number raised to 0, the answer is going to be 1. So these are the properties that you have to remember, and we are going to apply these properties for the coming exercise. I hope you have taken on all the properties, children. Come on, take it fast. Write neatly. It's very easy, yes children, the properties are very easy. So just understand the property. I hope you are ready with your properties. Shall we move to the exercise, children? Okay. So now take down exercise 2.11. Give the heading exercise 2.11. Okay, so we are going to continue with our exercise. I'm going to run the first question. Here the first question, children. Simplify. Simplify. What is the first question? 125 raised to 2 by 3. Yes. 125 raised to 2 by 3. So this is what we are going to simplify. And listen children, this is a very easy exercise. Here we have to mostly use the properties and we are going to solve this sum. And one more thing, you may have a 2-mark question from here or we may have a 5-mark question. Accordingly, they may ask questions from this exercise. Because this depends on exponents. I have told you they may ask the questions from different topics. So this is exercise which deal with the topic exponents and radicals. Okay. So a question will be asked from this exercise. Very simple. This is the sum which we have already done in our lower classes. Here we are just doing, what you can say, just a higher study. That's all. A little bigger numbers or the powers will be little different. Your small changes will be there. Okay. But already you have covered the basic things in your lower classes. Shall we continue children? Okay, so now the first sum is 125 the whole raised to 2 by 3. So now what is our work is, we are going to take the number 125 and you are going to factorize it. Come on, let's factorize it. You know the last number is 5, yes? So this number will be divisible by 5, yes, come on. Go for the factorization. Complete the factorization children. Okay, I hope you have completed the factorization. The last digit was 5, so you have to divide by 5. Come on, let's do it. So you get your 5. 5 2s are 10. 2 is left out. 5 5s are 25. 25, again it goes in the table of 5. 5 5s are 25. 5 goes in the table of 5. 5 1s are 5. So I have just factorized 125. And what I am going to do is, I am going to write down this 125 as the, or you can say in the form of a power. So how I am going to write down in the form of power? I am going to take the base as 5 and I am going to see how many times this 5 is being repeated. So how many times the 5 is coming over here? 1, 2, 3. So how many times? 3 times. So how 125 will be represented? 125 will be written as 5 the whole cube. Now here the 5 is called the base and this 3 is called as the power, or you can call it as the exponent. I'll just write down here children. So how can we write 125? This is written as 5 the whole cube, yes? And this 5 is called as the base and this 3, mostly we use the word power, 5 power 3 like that. So you have to read this as power or you can say this as exponent. Getting my point? Okay. So now what are we going to do? We are going to write down this value over here. That is, we are going to replace the value 125 over here. That is 5 cube. You know how to read it, yes children? If the power is 2, you have to read it as 5 square. If it is 3, 5 cube. If it is 4, 5 raised to 4. 5 raised to 5. 6, 5 raised to 6 and so on. Let's go with the work. So here, therefore, I have found the value for 125 in terms of power. So I'll put here 5 cube the whole raised to 2 by 3. I'm just explaining you this sum again and again because you have some work to do over here. I'll be just doing I'll be doing 2 sums and the remaining work will be done by you. So just understand the sum clearly children. If you understand the concept, you can complete the sum. So be careful children. Just concentrate. Okay, so what we have done here, we have substituted the value. Let's go for the substitution. So 5 cube 2 by 3. That's 5 cube 2 by 3. Now what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to apply this property children. See here. A raised to x the whole y can be taken as a raised to xy. That means here we have a bracket, yes? So you can multiply these 2 powers. So how you get? This is equal to 5 raised to 3 into 2 by 3. I hope you're clear. You just write down here the property. A raised to x the whole raised to y is equal to a raised to xy. Mention the property. So what is the property used over here? A raised to x the whole raised to y is equal to a raised to xy. Okay. Now I'm just going to try to simplify it. So 3 gets cancelled. So what is left here? 5 square. What is the answer? For 5 square, the answer is 25. Yes, that's all. We have completed our sum. You can write on the final statement. I'll just put here, children. Write on the final statement. Always try to write the final statement. You know how to present your answers. Yes, children? Therefore, 125, 2 by 3. That is 125 raised to 2 by 3 is equal to 25. Highlight the answer. Okay. I hope you are clear with the first sum. Okay, now let's go for the second part. Take on the second sub part. What is the second sub part? 16 raised to minus 3 by 4. So here, one sum we dealt with the positive power and now we are going to deal with the negative power. Let's see how to simplify the sum with the negative power. Shall I rub the sum, children? Have you taken down? Shall we move to the next sum? Okay, I'll continue with the next one. It's a very, very easy exercise, and not only this exercise is easy, I think unit 1 was a easy unit and unit 2 is also an easy unit. The only thing is you have many sums. That's only the thing you people will be having, like what you can say, you will have a different opinion about. Like the sums are easy, but we have to practice a lot of sums. What I'm giving you a suggestion is every day, you just plan. Okay, suppose you first of all what you have to do is, if you are taking unit 1, take unit 1, first of all you count how many sums are there. How many solved examples are there for all the exercises. That is from first to last. From the first to the last. I'm just talking about one unit. I'm not telling you to count all the solved examples. Count the solved examples of unit 1. Then count the exercise sums. Then just see. Okay, so if suppose you have 50, 60 sums, then how to split it? Okay, just 10, 10, 10. Or just plan, okay, 1 unit, 1 week. I just want 1 week for 1 unit. You can take 1 unit for preparing your, 1 week for preparing 1 unit. Okay, children, so you just plan, okay, so I have to complete every day 10, 10 sums along with the homeworks, classworks, everything. You are not only focusing on one subject. You have to prepare all the subjects. Yes, children? So you have to plan, you have to put your own timetable. You have to see, okay, I have to solve 10 sums today. I'll be solving 15 sums today. So every day you have to practice the sums. Okay, children? So once you get this habit, what happens? At the end, you will be thorough with all the sums. That is, you will be thorough with the whole book. And it will be very, very easy for you to score marks because you would have referred all the sums. And if you know all the sums, yes, you can attempt all the questions and you may get full marks. So be careful. What is that? You have to be very careful with your plannings and you have lot of time. So use your time wisely. Follow up a timetable. You are not a small kid, children. You are grown up. You know how to plan your timetable. Use your time wisely and try to complete the whole unit. So we are just going to complete. Yeah, we are just trying. We are going to reach our unit 2. We are going to complete our unit 2. So just complete all your study work. Okay, children? Okay, now let's go with second subpart. What is the second subpart? 16 raised to minus 3 by 4. So do not waste your time. Whenever you get time, practice. The practice is the only key to success in maths. Yes. So 16 raised to minus 3 by 4. So now again, I'm going to take the number 16 and I'm going to factorize it. Now you may have a confusion. Okay, no confusion here. We can directly start factorizing with 4. Don't take 4, 4. Okay, children, 4 4s are 16. Do not write 4. Try to take the smallest number and try to go on factorizing it. So I'm going to take the number 2 here because 6 is there. That means the number is divisible by 2. You know the condition or you know the test of divisibility of 2. What is the test of divisibility? The number, if you are checking for test of divisibility of 2, the last digit should contain 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. If you have the last digit to be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, you say that the number is divisible by 2. This we studied in our 5th standard. Yeah, 5th or 6th we have studied this, yes? So we have been studying from our lower classes. So you have to carry out in, see that thing is being carried in your 11th standard also. So you have to remember all the concepts. Okay. So now what is the last digit over here? It's 6. That means the number is divisible by 2. Okay. Now let us simplify further. Let us factorize it further. What do you get over here? 2 8s are 16. Yes. Again 8 is divisible by 2. I put here 2. 2 4s are 8. Again 2. 2 2s are 4. 2 1s are 2. 2 8s are 16. 2 4s are 8. 2 2s are 4. 2 1s are 2. Okay. So now I'm going to write down the 16 as the form of power. So I'll write down this is equal to 2 raised to 4 minus 3 by 4. So what I get? 2 raised to 4 minus 3 by 4. Okay children? Are you clear? Okay. Now let's move further. So again here we are going to use the same property that we have used for the first subpart. So this is equal to 2, 4 into minus 3 by 4. Just use a bracket here children. Never write the two signs together. Okay, that's wrong method. That is a wrong method. That means if you're writing, if you're using a positive number, no need to mention a bracket. That is not making a difference. But if you are going to use a negative number, try to use a bracket to differentiate. Like you cannot write x minus 3. Suppose you have 2 into minus 3. So this is a wrong way of writing. You have to put here a bracket. Always use a bracket wherever it is needed. Okay. So we are going to use a bracket over here. 4 into minus 3 by 4. I'm going to write down the property here. You can mention the property. A raised to x, the whole raised to y is equal to a raised to xy. So 2 raised to 4 into minus 3 by 4. So we can cancel 4 and 4. Yes children, I can cancel 4 and 4. So now what is left? 2 raised to minus 3 is left. This is equal to 2 raised to minus 3. Now I cannot write 2 raised to minus 3. I cannot find the value directly. So what are you going to do? Again here we are going to apply one law of indices. Do you remember this law children? This is this law. A raised to minus m is equal to 1 upon a raised to m. So we are going to write down this property. I'll put here. A raised to minus m is equal to 1 upon a raised to m. So if you have the power in terms of negative, you have to change the power in terms of positive. So how are you going to change in positive? A raised to minus m will be taken as 1 upon a raised to m. So this is 1 upon 2 raised to 3. It's 1 upon 2 cube, 2 into 2 into 2. 2 into 2 into 2. Don't write 2 cube as 6 children. This is wrong. 2 cube means 2 into 2 into 2. 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. Yes. The answer is 1 upon 8. Let's write the final statement. Therefore, 16 raised to minus 3 by 4 is equal to 1 by 8. Okay. So we have completed the second subpart. Now it's time for homework. Yes, children, all are waiting eagerly for getting the homework. Yes, all are good children. Yes, all are waiting. Shall I give you the homework? Okay, now come on. I'll just give you some homeworks. Your homework is from question number 1. From question number 1, you are going to find the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Third subpart, fourth subpart, and fifth subpart. Okay, children? So 3 sums. We may have some more sums. So at the present, mark third subpart, fourth subpart, and fifth subpart from question number 1. So you have to use the properties, children, okay? So try to use the property and find the answer. Have you completed? Use a bracket. You can just use a box over here. Okay, now let's continue with sum number 2. Take down question number 2, children. Take down question number 2. Copy down the question. What is the question given to you? Evaluate. Evaluate is, again, we are going to find out the answer. We are going to simplify and you are going to get the answer. What is the question given? 256. 256 minus half. That is 256 raised to minus half. Again, this is raised to minus 1 by 4. Okay. And again, this is raised to 3. So you have 3 powers. Write down the question carefully. 256, the whole raised to minus half, the whole raised to minus 1 by 4, the whole raised to 3. Have you taken on the question, children? Shall we go for the sum? Okay, let's do it for, let's simplify it further. So now here again we are going to apply the first law of indices, or you can apply the properties of exponential. We have seen this property. I'll just mention the properties over here. A raised to m, the whole raised to n. Or not the first property, we are just the used property. So A raised to mn is going to be A raised to mn, that's all. Actually here we have used the property dealing with 2 powers like m and n. A raised to m, the whole raised to n. So you get here A raised to mn, but now here only one difference. Instead of 2 powers, you have 3 powers. So no simple matter, you have to just go on multiplying all the 3 powers together. Very simple concept. So you put here 256 minus half, I'll put a bracket over here, minus half into minus 1 by 4. Remember the thing what I have told you, use a bracket into 3. So you can use a bracket over here also, no problem. Minus half into minus 1 by 4 into 3. So now let's simplify it further, children. So what you get when you simplify? Numerator, just see the numerator, minus 1 into 3. So you get here, this is equal to, I'll put here 256. I'm going to take, because here I don't think any cancellation is possible, nothing is possible over here. So we are going to take all the numerator together and you're going to multiply it, and then you're going to multiply the denominator together. So minus 1 into minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 into minus 1 plus 1, plus 1 into 3, 1 into 3, 3. So I get 3 upon 2 into 4. What is 2 into 4? It's 8. 256, the whole raised to 3 by 8. 256, the whole raised to 3 by 8. Okay. Now the work goes on as the previous sum. What are we going to do? We have to factorize 256. Come on, factorize 256 and give me the value. I just wait for your answer, children. Come on, factorize. Just see here the last number is 6. That means you can go on factorizing by 2. Come on, complete the work. You have to try by yourself, children. Just do not wait for anyone. You are going to complete the sum. Come on, get the factors. Once you get the factors, you can substitute and you can get the value. Come on, do it. Have you found the factors? Be careful when you find the factors. Do not make mistakes. We have a habit of making minor mistakes as children. Let's do the sum. This is 2, 2 1s are, 2 2s are 4, 2 8s are 16. 2, 6, 4. 2, 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. 2, 1s are 2 and 1 16. Can you see? I'll just continue little from the top, children. If I write down, you will be not able to see. I just do from here. So 256. You have to show this working part, children, okay? Everyone has to show the working. 2 1s are, 2 2s are 4, 2 8s are 16, 2 6 are 12, 2 4s are 8. Again, we have 4 in the last digit. So divisible by 2, 32, 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4, 2 1s are 2, 1 left, 6, 2, 8, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 1. I have factorized 256. I am going to write down this in terms of power. What is the base we are going to use here? We are going to use the base as 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2s. So what is the base? 2. And how many 2s you are getting over here, children? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you are getting the power as 8. That is, you have how many 2s? You have 8 2s. So let us write down the step. So this is equal to, that is 256 is to be written as 2 raised to 8, the whole raised to 3 by 8. Very simple, yes children? So this is equal to 2 raised to 8 into 3 by 8. Here we are using the property a raised to x, the whole raised to y is equal to a raised to xy. 8 gets cancelled. 2 cube, I know the value for 2 cube. 2 into 2 into 2. What is 2 into 2 into 2? It's 8. Write down the answer, children. The answer is 8. Write the answer here. It's 8. Now write down the final statement. Therefore, 256 raised to minus half, raised to minus 1 by 4, raised to 3, this is equal to 8. Just draw a box. You should have the habit of drawing a box when you complete the answer. You have to highlight the answer. I hope you were clear with the sum. So this type of questions will be asked for 2 marks. This is a 2-mark question. So you have to mention the property, you have to take the factors, you have to simplify, and you have to get the answer. That's all. Very easy steps. Okay, children, now we are going to move to the next question. Now you are going to take down the third question. Take down the third question. Yeah, what's the question? If x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to 9 by 2, then find the value of x raised to half minus x raised to minus half for x greater than 1. That is, they have given you the condition for x that it's greater than 1, and they have given you one value. So let us write down what is given first. Okay, children? You take down the question first. Take down the third question. You have to take down the question, get ready with your question, and I'll tell you how to proceed for the sum. Okay. So write down what is given. Given x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to 9 upon 2. This is what is given to us. X raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to 9 upon 2. Okay, now what are you going to find out here? You have to find out the value of, to find x raised to half, here plus was given, so you have to find minus x raised to minus half the whole square. Whole square or only, yes, not the whole square. Only you have to find x raised to half minus x raised to minus half. This is what we have to find out. Okay, children? Shall we start? Okay. So I'm going to consider the given part here. I'll take the solution here. What is the solution? I'm going to take the given part because we are going to simplify the given part and we are trying to, we have to try to get the required answer. I'll take this part. X raised to half. Be careful, children. Here, when you write, you may feel a little confusing. So be careful. You write down neatly. Give proper spacings and write, okay? X raised to half plus x raised to minus half square is equal to 9 upon 2. Okay. So I have just considered the given part. Now what I am going to do here is I am going to apply the identity over here. That is, I am going to apply the identity a plus b the whole square. This is a, this is b, a plus b the whole square. What is the identity, children? What is a plus b the whole square? A square plus 2ab plus b square. Okay. So let's apply the formula over here and let's try to simplify it further. Let's see what we get over here. So I'll put a plus b, or you can just write down using identity. Okay, I'll just put here using identity a plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Okay, children, now I just want you to put your pens down and listen to the step carefully because here some manipulations and some calculations are there. So put your pens down and listen to the step carefully, children. Are you ready? Have you put your pens down? Okay. Now listen over here carefully. I am going to use the identity a plus b the whole square. So now what is our a here, children? The a is x raised to half. And what is b? X raised to minus half. So let's substitute the value for a and b in the given identity. So I get therefore x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to. I'm just going to consider the square part. Okay, I'm not going to take this part. I'll take this part later on. First of all, I'm going to solve the answer. I'm going to get the value for this. This is equal to a square, that is x raised to half the whole square. Getting my point? X raised to half. What is a? A is x raised to half. So x raised to half the whole square plus, okay, plus 2 into, what is a? X raised to half. What is b? X raised to minus half into x raised to minus half. Are you getting the point? Okay, now I'll just put here plus b square. What is b? X raised to minus half the whole square. Now we are going to simplify it further. Now let's see, children, how to simplify it. I'm just going to do the calculations over here. X raised to half the whole square. X raised to half the whole square. This is a raised to x the whole raised to y. Again we are using the same property, yes, children. So a raised to x the whole raised to y gives you a raised to x into y. So half into 2 gets cancelled. So what is left here? X power 1. What is x raised to 1? X raised to 1 is x. So I have got the answer. See, I got the value for x raised to half into 2. What is the answer? It's 1. Half into 2. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. What is left here? X. Okay, now coming to this part. This is an important part. Important in the part, here is more work to be done. Okay, so 2 into x raised to half into x raised to minus half. This is the term, okay. This is our middle term. Let's see how to simplify it. Now this is a raised to m into a raised to n. Have you heard of the indices? A raised to m into a raised to n. What is the answer? A raised to m plus n. A raised to m into a raised to n. What is a raised to m into n? It's a raised to m plus n. Okay, children? Now, let's apply this indices over here. So, I'll keep 2 as it is. I'm not going to touch 2. X raised to m plus n. That is, what is m here? Half. What is n here? Minus half. Be careful. Half minus half. What is half minus half? Half minus half gets cancelled. So what is left here? 0. So you get 2x raised to 0. I have told you anything raised to 0 gives you 1. So 2 into 1, 2. You see? So big term was this. Now we have reduced it as 2. That's all. X plus 2. Now we have one more term left out. Let us simplify this term. X raised to minus half into 2. So 2 gets cancelled, and what is left here? X raised to minus 1. Now what is the value for x raised to minus 1? I have told you that you have to write the power in terms of positive. So a raised to minus m will be written as a raised to m, 1 upon a raised to m. So x raised to minus 1 will be taken as, so x raised to minus 1 is equal to 1 by x. Okay children, so we have got all the values. So I have found the value for x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is x plus 2 plus 1 by x. So now your work is to take down the sum. You are going to take down the sum, and also you are going to show these calculations. I have shown the calculations. You are going to show this calculation, this everything in the rough part. Come on, get me the work. Come on, do it. You have to show the rough part also. You have to show the calculation part also. Then only you will come to know how you have found the answer. Do not do it directly. Okay. Be careful. Minute calculations. Do not miss any terms. Have you completed, children? Have you taken down? It's simple. We are just applying the identity. That's all. Okay. So now I am going to put this value over here. I just put this as number 1, children. Take this as number 1, so that we can substitute the value over here. Have you taken down? Okay. So I'll write down. Therefore, so this value. What is this value? Or you can just take this as 2. So put 2 in 1, or not we'll put substitute 2 in 1. Substitute 2 in 1. So I get this. What is 2? X plus 2 plus 1 by x is equal to 9 by 2. So I have just substituted the value for x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square. What is the answer? What is the answer, children? The answer is x plus 2 plus 1 by x. And what is left here? 9 by 2. So that's what I have written over here. Now let's try to simplify it further. Shall I rub this part? Okay. I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to take the numbers on one side, and I'm going to keep the variables on one side. Therefore, x plus 1 by x is equal to 9 upon 2 minus 2. Are you clear with this step? What I have done, I'm keeping the variables on one side, and I'm going to take the numbers on one side. So this is plus 2, yes? So when plus 2 goes from LHS to RHS, it turns to be minus. So 9 upon 2 minus 2. Okay, here. Let's simplify further, children. Therefore, x plus 1 upon x is equal to, cross multiply, 9 minus 2 2s are 4 upon 2. Therefore, x plus 1 upon x is equal to 5 upon 2. We have found the value for x plus 1 by x. Just take this as number 3. Take the number as 3. X plus 1 upon x is equal to 5 upon 2. Complete the work, children. We have just taken the given part. We have one more part left out. We have to find out the value, yes? Okay, shall we continue? Let's continue. So now what are we going to do is, we were told to find out the value for x raised to half minus x raised to minus half. This was the thing, yes? But we are not going to take this value, we are going to take the square of it. If I take the square of it, what can I do is I can apply the identity and I can get the answer. So, write down here. Consider, are you taking the sum along with me, children? X raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square. Consider x raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square. So again here the same thing, you are going to use the identity and you are going to expand it. Shall we expand? Come on. Give the heading, you have to write down same mostly, like we consider the square part here. In the previous case we have used for a plus, a plus b the whole square, and now you are going to use for a minus b the whole square. Write down. Using identity, a minus b the whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. X raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to. Now shall we do it directly, children? Already we have seen the steps for x raised to half plus x raised to minus half the whole square is. So now let's try to do this step directly. So I get here x raised to half the whole square, a square minus 2 into x raised to half into x raised to minus half plus x raised to minus half the whole square. X raised to half the whole square minus 2 into a into b. So 2 into a is what? X raised to half, and what is b? X raised to minus half plus b square, x raised to minus half the whole square. I am going to do it directly over here, children. So 2 gets cancelled, so x is left here, and here minus sign is there. X raised to half minus half, a raised to m into a raised to n. So what are you going to do? M plus n. So half minus half gives you 0. So x raised to 0, 1. So 2 is left, x minus 2. Are you clear? Shall I do it again? Okay, I'll put here. 2 into x raised to half into x raised to minus half. So 2 you keep aside. A raised to m into a raised to n. So a raised to m plus n. Plus means here it's plus minus. So plus minus will change to minus. I get here minus. So 2 raised to, that is 2 into x raised to 0. X raised to 0, you know the value, it's 1. So 2 into 1 is equal to 2. Okay. So I am getting the answer here. 2. Just see the difference. In the previous case, we have got plus 2. Here, we are getting minus 2. That's all. That is the difference. Plus 2 gets cancelled. So x raised to minus 1 is left. X raised to minus half into 2. 2 gets cancelled. X raised to minus 1 is present. That is equal to 1 upon x. X raised to minus 1 can be written as 1 upon x. Okay, so this is equal to 1 upon x. Okay. Now, what I am going to do, I am just going to make a small adjustment. X plus 1 by x minus 2. Bring the x and the 1 by x term together. I get x plus 1 by x minus 2. Just a small shifting, that's all. Okay. Take down. So just give proper spacing, children. Just give some, give a proper space when you continue with the next line. Don't make very congested. If you make congested, you will be not able to understand the steps. Okay. So what you have got here? X plus 1 upon x minus 2. Okay. Now what are we going to do here? We know the value for x plus 1 upon x. Yes. What is the value for x plus 1 upon x? See, I have found the value for x plus 1 upon x. It's 5 upon 2. So put here 5 upon 2 minus 2. This is from 3. From where I am getting this value? I am getting the value from 3. From 3. Okay. So in place of x plus 1 upon x, I am going to put 5 upon 2, and what is left here? Minus 2. Now let's simplify it further. So this is equal to 5, 2 2s are 4, so minus 4 upon 2. The denominator is 2, yes. So 5 minus 4 upon 2. This is equal to 1 upon 2. Sum is being not completed, children. We have some more steps to be followed. Okay. So what we have got? We have got 1 upon 2. So now the question was, that is, we started with x raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square. But I don't want the square part. I just want the term. That is, I want x raised to half minus x raised to minus half. So now what are we going to do? We are going to write down the step and we are going to take the square root of it. That is, I don't want the square term, okay. I just want this term. Inside term only I need it. So you are going to take the square root and we are going to find the answer. I'll just rub this part. So write down here. Therefore, x raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to 1 by 2. This is the square. Square of this is equal to half. I don't want this term. So what are we going to do? We are going to take square root on both sides. Taking square root on both sides, we get. Continue the statement. So taking square root on both sides, we get. So when I take the square root, that is, when I take the square root, x raised to half minus x raised to minus half the whole square is equal to square root of half. The square root and the square gets cancelled. So what is left here? X raised to half minus x raised to minus half. What is the square root of 1? 1. 1 into 1? 1. So you get here, put here plus minus 1. I don't know the square root of 2. We know, we can find out, but at present, don't go for further simplifications. Just keep it as 2. We can find the square root of 2, children. We have already found. Yes, we have found the square root of 2. Yes. But just keep here root 2 enough. So what do you get here? X raised to half minus x raised to minus half is equal to plus minus 1 by root 2. Still, the sum is not done. We have one more condition in the question. They're saying that the value for x should be greater than 1. Greater than 1 means what? That means it should take the positive value. So here we have taken two values. Yes, children, we have taken a positive value and a negative value. Plus minus. Yes. So what you are going to do? You are going to take only the positive value because they have given a condition x is greater than 1. So write down. Therefore, x raised to half minus x raised to minus half is equal to 1 by root 2. This is the required answer. Write down the answer. Okay. So we have found the answer for sum. The sum was a lengthy sum, yes. But you have to just go step by step. Simple calculations. We have to use the identity. In some cases, we have used the properties of exponentials, and in some cases, we have used the law of indices, and we have found the answer. Okay, children? So what is the homework here? The homework is from question number 1, the third, fourth, and the fifth subpart. And one more thing, yes, you have to complete sum number 4 and 5 as homework. 4 and 5. Very simple thing. 4 is an easy thing. You have to just try to make the base common. And for sum number 5, you have to use the formula for volume of a sphere. That is, you have to find out the radius of a spherical tank whose volume is 32 pi by 3. So you have to use the formula for volume of a sphere, and this sum is like your 10th standard mensuration. So just use that and complete sum number 4 and sum number 5. And I'll be continuing with the remaining questions. We have some more questions left. Yes, children? So we have some more sums in exercise 2.11, which will be continued in the next class.